the name of this program is Carving the Carbs Out of Thanksgiving. So we all know that Thanksgiving is a super heavily carbohydrate-laden, starch-laden meal. And it's really challenging whether you have diabetes or not, because all those extra carbs get into your stomach and they eventually turn into fat. So, so working with Preheat, we've kind of designed this recipe that uses all kinds of interesting ingredients, and you won't ever miss not having any bread or starch in this recipe. Okay, so the first thing is we use some bacon, okay? You can see here's just bacon. I like to use Applegate Farms. It's natural and no nitrites, no preservatives and things like that. And so I chopped it up. Let's see, how can I show this? From here. I chopped it up. We wanted to get a head start, so we started cooking it a little bit already. And the whole packet into little cubes. And then we sauteed that along with a cup of onions. So we already got that going together. So the next thing that goes in the pot is what I want to show you, another interesting ingredient. This is chia seeds. So does anybody not know what chia seeds are? Everybody knows?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, let's take one of these bowls and we'll pour it in there so we can pass that around. They're little seeds that swell and grow, and they're like a thickener. So if you're looking to thicken things, this is what, instead of the breadcrumbs, is going to hold everything together. So what I've done is I've taken 2 tablespoons of the chia seeds and half a cup of the chicken broth. Look at these adorable little boxes of chicken broth they sell now. And so I just soaked that up ahead, and we're going to add that in after we cook up a few other things. Okay, so in the pot, I chopped up 2 carrots. So that's going in. I'm going to stir that up. Yeah. Okay, and so the way I cut that carrot is I just cut it in half and then half again, and then chopped it along like that. Same with the celery. We have about a head of celery. I actually bought the organic celery. Celery is one of those things that I find it's very important to buy organic. There's a list out there called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And they're the fruits and vegetables that the Dirty Dozen are the ones that you really don't want to eat regular, because they have the highest amount of pesticides used on them. And the Clean 15 are, on the other hand, ones that it's okay to eat non-organic. A lot of things like avocados that have a shell, and but celery is one because the way it grows, it soaks everything up from the ground. So if you've got pesticides from the ground, they come right up. Plus, they're all exposed, and it's not like you can wash it off. It gets in there. So we chop up the celery. So these are organic carrots, and I find that some of the best nutrition is right in the skin and under the skin. So if you just scrub it and don't peel it, you're getting the best nutrition. Thank you. Okay. The next thing that's going to go in is a turnip, and I didn't bring a whole one. It's already cut up. Does anybody not know what a turnip is? They're like those white balls, and some of them have like sort of purplish around the top. They're what?
Big radishes.
Right, but they're more of a mild flavor.
Yeah, the flavor is different.
Yeah, and I find that they add a really sort of earthy, interesting flavor. So we're going to add that in. And that was just one big turnip. Because this is a kind of stuffing that doesn't go into the bird. So let's see. Then we are going to add, so this is really fun. We're going to add a cup of cranberries. All right, so I was just in the grocery store yesterday. They're everywhere. And I was behind a guy who was checking out, who was actually he was buying like 20 bags of cranberries. And I asked him, oh my God, are you making all that cranberry sauce? He's like, no, I love them all year round. So he puts them in the freezer. And that way you can use them all year round because they're really a fun thing. They're super high in antioxidants. They're great, and they're very, very low in sugar. That's why they're so tart, right? So, and it makes a beautiful color. I think I can kind of show people so far. I'll be putting it into a bowl pretty soon. Here's my glasses. Okay. Oh, the apple. Okay, I didn't chop up the apple yet. We don't chop up an apple. I think we put that. Now, is there anything special about chopping an apple?
Are you using the skin?
Yes, we use the skin for something like this. Again, the color in the apple, I've heard people say, nutritionists, that if you eat nothing in the apple, make sure to eat the skin. Because again, that's where the nutrition is. So you can actually eat the skin and throw the inside out. So it's always so interesting that people do just the opposite, right? And especially in something like this, you're not going to even know that the skin is there. It's just, it's going to add to the texture. Okay. So Nareed is chopping up an apple, and so the next thing we're going to add are...
Does it have to be a green apple?
It does not have to be a green apple, no. However, green apples are lower in sugar than other apples.
Well, there are some red varieties that are lower.
Are there?
Like Arkansas Blacks.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know Arkansas Blacks.
And they're really good keeping apples.
Really?
There's a latest apple.
Wow. Okay, where do you find them?
Well, I get them at Strawberry Hill Farm in Chesterfield, but they're finished by now. Sometimes Rivers has them at the Chesterfield Farmers Market.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. So the next thing I'm going to add, and this is really interesting. The first time I came across this recipe, it was made with sausage, and I tried it, and it basically came out tasting like a meat dish. It was a pound of sausage, and it's like, that's not what I want in my stuffing because I'm already going to have a turkey, right? So, Nareed had this great idea of using portobello mushrooms. So, because these are big, they're chunky, they're like meaty, I cubed them into kind of thick chunks, and they really hold some substance. So we put the apple in, and now we're going to add the mushrooms. And you could, I'm sure, use smaller mushrooms. It's sometimes mushrooms saute down to almost nothing, but when you cut these thick like this, they really hold some of their body. And it's kind of, you know, also like the breadcrumbs that aren't in here. So, and then to add some of the flavor that we're missing from not having the sausage, I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar. So again, you probably could use any kind of vinegar, but apple cider vinegar has lots of health properties. It has a real tangy flavor. It kind of goes with the whole apple theme. So we're going to pour that in. That was 2 tablespoons. And okay, the next thing is the pecans. So we're going to add a little crunch. I want to keep mixing this. So these are whole pecans, and what we want to do is I wanted to turn them into ground. I didn't want them this big. So I don't know if anybody else has one of these things, but it's so amazing. This is Xylus, and it's a chopper. So I'm just going to show you how I do this. You put the nuts, some whole nuts, any kind, in there. And should I come over here to show? Just kind of hit that a few times. And there we have chopped nuts. Instead of me trying to work with my knife and do all of this. Plus this all comes apart. I'm like, I don't sell Zeiss, anything, Xylus, but it all comes apart and you can put it in the washing machine. I used to have an old version of this and it broke at one point, and then I discovered this, and it's really wonderful. So I'm gonna put all these nuts in. Okay. And for some greens, yeah, that's a good idea. We're going to add some chopped parsley. I bought a big bunch, and this is about half the bunch. I use the stems and all. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and now we are going to add the chia seeds. Okay. So like I said, this was 2 tablespoons of chia seeds soaked in a half a cup of the vegetable broth. Okay. And this is going to help with, see how it's really thick? Can you guys see this? It's so thick. If you know chia seeds, I love chia seeds, and they're an absolutely fantastic fiber. They're also high in omega-3s. They are high in protein, and they really, really fill you up. So I make a breakfast porridge out of chia seeds in the morning sometimes. Or sometimes if I want an afternoon snack, I might make a chocolate one. So you can talk to me later if you're interested. Maybe we'll do another cooking demo on, okay.
It also binds. It also bind the stuffing. It works as a binder.
Right. So that's the reason it's in here, to hold it all together. Okay. And then I want to add a half a cup of the chicken broth. So I used 1/2 in the chia seeds, and then I'm using the rest of that. And again, I just found these little boxes. I think they're absolutely fantastic, because how often do you open the bigger boxes and then you're only using half a cup and it sits in your refrigerator for a while. So they're really adorable. And it came in like a box of 4 of them. So I found that very handy. So we're going to stir that up, and now we have to add some eggs. Let's see, so we're going to add 2 eggs into here. And then we're just going to mix them up. And again, the eggs are also, we're going to bake this. So the eggs are also going to hold everything together. And the reason we're doing this first is because we have to bake it, and we want to get it in the oven so that it's cooking while we're showing you the other things, and then we can taste it when it comes out. Okay, and I think we want a little salt and pepper.
I love these recipes that take a lot of, you know, a cup of this, a teaspoon of that. So if you have if you have children in the house or grandchildren in the house, this is such a great way to get them involved in a little math and cooking together, and really get them engaged. Even the tiny ones where all right, so you don't want them with the knives, but you've already chopped up all your chives, but you need to make a teaspoon of chives. Even a 3-year-old, you know, you can start, you know, to really get them interested in cooking and thinking about math together. It's really, see a lot of that online now. It's good.
Okay, then what we do is we pour it into a roasting pan. Oh, I forgot the olive oil. Oh, you're going to oil it? Okay. Right. Okay. I think it'll stick.
It has eggs in it.
Okay. So I know at home I probably would have missed that step. That's not in the recipe. I just say pour it into a 9x13. Okay.
If you cook it in a steam oven, you don't need to oil it.
Ah.
It's one thing.
Did you have the heat on under that pot, or that was just for the
Oh.